Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the now fully named Barkin Boys Podcast with Hard Hat and Steven. Today we have a few topics involving everything from torture to soldiers to LSD and some other
dolphins. Don't forget the dolphins
and things along the way.
Talking dolphins
in there, yeah.
It's going to be a
dolphins.
doozy.
Well, they weren't quite talking. That was the issue.
No. Have y'all heard the audio to this? To them talking?
No.
Oh,
Write that later.
God.
Oh no, yeah.
Is it legit sounding?
No, it's rather creepy. Not gonna lie to you. Like,
Okay.
I'll pull it up here in a minute and send it to you. So y'all have to listen to it while we're talking because this has to be, it's out there.
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, we can kick it off. Matthew, go ahead with the Conjuring.
I do have white torture that I was going to be covering first.
Okay,
He wants
let's
to
try
talk
this
about
again.
torture.
All right,
Okay.
Matthew, take it away with torture.
God bless.
It's like the Wheel of Fortune, man. He comes out laughing and smiling and waving and shit.
And then it's torture.
Brings out the racks, you know?
All right, so this started in as a torture method in Iran that was not necessarily recognized by the Iranian government, and is also a human rights issue.
Of course.
Basically, it's sensory deprivation, extreme isolation and sensory deprivation. You don't see daylight inside of a white, windowless room. The only thing that they feed you is material that are white, so necessarily like rice. There is no color or sound or real orientation that can, pique your imagination for your brain, and so you're just kind of lulled into this sense of, how do I put it? More so into a sense of you get disassociated and you kind of get there's no new sensory input, so your brain starts to trick you into thinking there's new sensory input. People have been reported of losing their minds from this torture from weeks to months. When all they see is white, so their brain starts to get new sensory information that's imagined from them. As in, there was one case. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Like hallucinations. And
Yes, and auditory.
You're just like hearing shit in your white little box.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, it's terrible, but sorry. But let me see if I can find the account that I was looking at earlier. I was trying to pull it up on the thing. So it's based. So you can also use it as a death penalty as well.
Jesus.
You go in the white box until you die? Is that what that implies? Like,
So as opposed to the death penalty is when okay, we'll send him for white torture, and people wants to opt out for the death penalty instead.
oh my goodness, yeah. No, I don't want to go about doing that particular thing, and instead we'll just die. Yeah, I mean that means it's like probably pretty legit, right? Like not a lot of people have reasons to just volunteer for death.
Oh yeah. So I'll describe it as here. I have a better summary of it instead of just me jumbling my words. White room torture involves the stay of a prisoner in a cell or a box in which it's completely white walls. The sheets, prison clothes, doors, lights, and everything else in the cell are also white. The food is white rice. Sensory deprivation is not only inflicted through the color, but also the absolutely mute environment. Therefore, there has to be a pin-drop silence around the cell. Prisoners kept in isolation cannot talk to anyone. Even using the toilet, the prisoner has to slip a white piece of paper from underneath the door to the guard. The slippers of the guards are padded so the prisoners cannot hear any sounds but the ones made by him.
Oh, nah.
It is
good.
It's sensory deprivation. It's incredible.
The whole fact that their food is even white, too.
Oh, yeah.
That
to
would
them using the shitter to, like, the fucking...
That would deprive it of
Do they give
everything.
you like fucking water in like one of those white styrofoam
Yeah,
cups
but
so you
that's-
can't even
Oh.
enjoy that? Like,
Oh, man.
So it's described as, it's not necessarily, beating or pain, but it's worse. Your brain is beaten up very badly even without touching you. The purpose of this punishment is usually to instill fear in the prisoner, along the results are much more dangerous than just a scared prisoner. The detainee loses his identity in the process, cannot remember who he was and anyone from his family. Moreover, there is a conditioning of fear attached to the color white. As well, let me see if I can find the example.
Oh, that'll fuck you up for life then, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Oh man, you get absolutely done in by that. Like you couldn't even look at like a Wikipedia article without just like freaking out. Oh my goodness.
There was also methods as used in Iran as well as Ireland and Venezuela and the U.S. because why not?
So I'm seeing it was used in Venezuela by the U.S. That's what I'm reading.
Of course it would be.
I mean, like the CIA, we
It
need
was
to topple.
It was probably
we need
part
to
of
topple those
MKUltra, let's
governments
just be
down
honest.
there.
Oh Christ.
No, I mean, like this appears to be like a pretty recent thing, right? Like,
Really?
Iranian White Room prisoner was tortured for 8 months in 2004.
Oh yeah. So it's not
Jesus.
too bad.
Not too bad.
incredible.
We literally.
It's-
I think
deployed
you
my-
meant to say
rather.
not too old.
Not too old. Yeah. Why did I? Yeah. Okay. Very very different. Okay.
Yeah, those are slightly different things. I feel like, okay, so as far as torture goes, you really gotta hate someone, right?
Oh,
to
yeah.
put them through this, because the setup is so absurd. Like you have to get a bunch of slippers for your guards. You have to like make sure no sound is nearby. You have to like, if you're not in a climate where they generally have rice, you have to like get some white rice.
Oh yeah.
There's just a lot to be done.
So I did find a quote
I mean, the
from.
payoff is huge.
Oh
but-
yeah,
all right, sorry,
it'll work
sorry.
way longer than just offing somebody. But I found a a report from somebody who went through the white torture method in Iran. His name was Amir Falkarov. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. But he was a white room prisoner. Tortured for 8 months in 2004, and he recounts his horrors about all of those things going on. He described as, I was there for 8 months, and after those months, I couldn't remember my father and my mother's faces. When they released me from that prison, I was not a normal person. So it's that he became a whole different individual from 8 months in being in this room in solitary and without any sensory input, as well as. It's
Enhanced
horrifying.
interrogation, Jesus.
Okay, so this oddly enough reminds me of, I don't know the full story on this because, of course, the U.S. government likes to hide everything. This actually has a tie back to MKUltra because they had an experiment on people with schizophrenia because they were trying to figure out if they could cure schizophrenia, and being the U.S., or being the CIA in the 1960s, of course, it had to have LSD and other psychotic drugs that they used on people, including using another drug that could cause lung paralysis if taking too much of, which would cause, of course, the person to die. Their idea is if they used enough psychedelics and they would, it was almost like a White Room type of deal where they would take away all of the senses and stuff, and then torture and beat these people, essentially.
Jeez.
That they would lose their schizophrenia and become a normal person.
That's like the most absurd version of Pray the Gay Away I've ever fucking heard. We're gonna torture the shit out of you in hopes you'll become more sane.
But
okay, hear me out.
Hear me out.
So of course, again, CIA being CIA, it took place in another country other than ours. It took place in Canada. And some of the people that took part in it pretty much lost who they were. Some of them even started calling the teachers mom and dad, or the scientists or experimenters mom and dad. Even to the point where a lot of them lost emotions. One of the ladies, don't remember her name, but she got out of it. She lived through it. Whatever. Went out, had a family, and the daughter said that in any emotional response was minimal. She had very minimal emotional responses to a lot of things, and of course she
wasn't capable of doing that anymore.
Yeah. Of course she still had schizophrenia, but
glad it worked.
Still.
It really worked. Yeah, that was something crazy I learned about this week. Was
Good God.
let's just get rid of schizophrenia with LSD and other psychedelics.
I feel like LSD is probably like the very last thing on the list of things you want like to give to schizophrenics that are like
Pretty much.
particularly intense ailments or whatever, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
that's definitely the very last thing you want to hand.
Oh,
Somebody.
you know you're.
And I've
having-
never taken LSD, but I have friends who had. And I've heard it's quite the trip, so to speak. You know, it's not.
venturing
it's not
to
for the
Hat
faint
Man.
of heart. Oh
No, that's
Benadryl.
It's Benadryl. I know.
That's DHP, baby. We love the Hat Man. I hate every minute of that trip, but I'm so addicted it doesn't matter.
Good God.
So, I guess I could continue on with more drug-related stories. This is my last drug-related story that I can continue us on with.
Oh no.
All
right.
So picture this: it's 1943. You're a Finnish soldier, skiing along a trail running from the Soviets, and at the time, the Finnish were part of the German army. Okay, and the German army had this little pill they would give their soldiers called Pervitin. It was basically heroin. It was.
I thought it was meth. Meth. Heroin makes you go to sleep. Meth makes you go fast.
No, yeah, okay, then it was heroin. Yeah, you're right. No, it was meth. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, overdoses on meth. Correct. So, it's 1943. Him and his squad are running, or skiing, because they're in Finland. They're trying to get.
Can we take just like a brief moment to think of how hilarious like a gunfight on skis must be? Like just like from the outside looking in, like like say you get like a top down view of some fellas on some skis, and they're having to they have their ski sticks, so they have to like push and then go fast, and then they like tuck them under one arm and then pull out like a rifle, you know, because it was like the rifle era. They didn't have like like an AR,
capable
or
electric Tech 9
or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, this is unfortunately it was a James Bond level stuff here.
Unfortunate.
But they were getting away.
Good
But
reference.
the Soviets were. My drink was fizzing over. Oh God, it's still going. Oh, it's
God.
everywhere. Okay, I took a big
It's
drink
just
out
like
of
the
it.
Soviets.
Okay.
That's what the Soviets felt when they took Pervitin or whatever this is going.
But so him and his squad were trying to get away. They couldn't get away fast enough, so he popped one pill, and he said he really didn't feel it a whole lot. So he took the squad's entire supply, which was an entire bottle of Pervitin.
Meth.
Yeah, just meth at that
Just
point.
another reminder that that's meth.
It's so he took the entire supply, and they were they escaped him and stopped at camp, and they look over at him, and he's just tweaking to all fuck, and they're like scared that he's gonna just start shooting him. So they walk over and they take the ammo from his gun, but of course they leave him his gun and they take his knife and stuff. And then they fell asleep. They all went to sleep and whatnot.
That guy didn't. I don't think that guy went to sleep for a fucking week.
He passed out for a little bit in the snow. And then he woke up and just shot out. He was gone. He got up on his skis and just started skiing. He was like, I'm out, I'm gone, I'm out, I'm gone.
He saw the Hat Man. That's how it.
He definitely saw something. He was going so fast that he skied through a Soviet camp and just went straight through that fucker. Skis and everything. Straight through.
He was ready to like find a friend, and then like midway through, like the realization of what was going on caught him for like half a second. He's like, I just gotta keep fucking going. Like we can't stop. We won't stop. We're just going right through this camp.
Yeah, he said that he went about 100 kilometers. And then, so the Soviets gave chase, of course, of this strung-out man that just blazed through their fucking camp. And so he keeps going, and finally he just passes out again. And during whenever he passes out, he has a nightmare about fighting a werewolf. And during fighting this werewolf in his dream, he was stabbing the werewolf with a knife, Well, of course, in real life, he didn't have a knife. He had a compass. He was just beating the shit out of his compass into a tree. And so the one thing that he needed, in order to get back to his people, he just beat the shit out of. So he woke up. He was hungry. So he ate pine needles, which I don't feel like that's very nutritious, but
Very doubtful.
Sure.
Especially on meth.
Of course, so he skied along some more, and he stumbled on what he thought was one of his German friends. And as he skied closer, he noticed it was another Soviet. So he raised his gun to shoot him, and of course, click. And because he didn't have any ammo, threw his gun at the dude, and skied away again at blistering speeds until he passed out again, and woke up next to an abandoned cabin. And so he went inside the cabin, and he, of course, it's freezing ass cheeks outside. So he's like, all right, I'm going to start a fire. But he started the fire in the middle of the cabin. Just right in the middle of the floor. Just fire right in the middle. Started, lit a fire.
As one does.
As one does. And he laid down next to it and fell asleep. And, well, of course, the cabin caught on fire. And so as the fire was spreading during the night, he would just scoot over. So every time the fire would spread closer to him, he would just scoot over a bit, and so it kept spreading until it finally burnt the cabin down, and he ran outside, and he fell asleep in a sauna house that was outside, and woke up the next morning, and went on about skiing again, until he ran up on a had barbed wire and stuff across the road. It was like a stop point.
Like a checkpoint?
Yeah, like a checkpoint. And so he's like, oh, man, this must be a German outpost. I'm saved. So, he gets off his skis, walks past the barbed wire, steps on a landmine, and blows his foot apart. And, of course, throws him back. So
Jesus Christ.
He wraps up his foot as best he can. And there's a bunker right in front of him. So he gets up and he goes to walk to the bunker. Well, as soon as he opens the door, it triggers another trap, which is another explosive that blows him 30 feet backwards in the opposite direction. Of course, injuring him some more. So he just decides that he's going to start a fire in between his legs to keep his body warm and boil water in front of him or boil snow in front of him so he can eat it or drink it. Passes out again. He has another dream about being in a hospital eating just the most delectable food known to man. And during this nightmare, he would wake up, be pissed off that he was not eating that food, and pass out again. And then one instance where he woke up from his passed out, there was a bird that flew and landed right next to him. He took a stick and just clobbered the shit out of this bird. Ate it raw. Ate that motherfucker, just ate it. Finally, the Germans find him. It was a 2-week-long bender this man had been on. And whenever they picked him up and took him back to the hospital, he still had a heart rate of over 200.
How is he not dead? Jesus!
How he took a shitload of meth and ate a bird raw.
He covered 200.
I think that might be the only thing in between him and death.
He skied he traveled a total of 250 miles and dropped to a weight of 94 pounds.
Hold on. How long is 250 miles?
It's like 3/4 of the way to Dallas.
Okay, hold up. So I want to see it on a map, drawn out. One sec.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm too stupid to figure out how map scaling works. It's going to take me just a little bit. But yeah, no, that's absolutely insane.
His name was Amo Kovoyan.
That's probably butchered. I don't think that's how you say it.
I don't think we're gonna have a lot of right names in these kinds of stories. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially for me, all right? Also, he survived the war and lived into his 70s.
Good for him.
I'm glad that didn't take him out.
Okay, so 250 miles is like 1.5-ish the distance of the top part of Texas. Like
just like the width?
Yeah, like he took I-40 left to right and then like made it all the way to like OKC. Like from the left edge of the top of Texas to OKC.
What
Oh my god.
On some meth. That's
on
insane.
skis.
Okay, dude. Look, I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but that makes a little more sense why those people with like shopping carts full of shit live like they do. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like
there is
like
yeah.
how they're not immediately fucking dead. Like you know, I guess there's something to that drug.
That
Yeah,
there
is
really
insane.
must be.
I might need to try it sometime. I got a lot of work I gotta get done at work.
Do you think that would help you work on cars? Just like
Dude, 17 cars done in an hour. My god.
I'm almost certain if I did cocaine, I could do more computer work, maybe worse. Like I would be like maybe not as good as it.
But
Good-
there'd definitely
good at it.
be some done.
But it would be done. It's like I can do quick math. It's just not accurate, you know.
Yeah, your car's fixed. It's not fixed right, but it's definitely fixed.
He said,
Yeah,
"We doing our best out here."
we are out here balling. Oh my
Balling.
goodness, that's insane though. Like, there's a podcast. It's more like a history show done in audio form, but it's called like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, and he brings up this point about the extremes of the human experience and how so far away we are just as modern people from like really any extreme, right? Like we live kind of somewhere in the middle, you know, us in particular more so maybe on the side of luxury, right? Like, but we don't deal very frequently with things that are extreme in really any fashion, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But like, this guy is an example of a fucking extreme experience.
Yeah,
Like,
like
There's probably maybe 4 or 5 Nazis that could relate to what he went through, right? Like I bet in the Battle of the Bulge they had one of those fellas.
Yeah,
they
they-
took the whole squad's Purgaton ration or whatever.
yeah, either that or the Battle of Stalingrad or something like that. But like, fuck. Man,
Yeah, like
well, just
like,
think about the desperation of one man that he could not get away from the Soviets, and so his only response was to take a lethal amount of meth. Like, how scared do you have to be to just, you know what? It's either
To fucking down it.
I die to the Soviets or I am gonna, you know, have the hardest trip of my life. Like, of course, I mean, even then they didn't know the full extent of what Pervitin was or meth.
I bet they did.
well-
I bet someone did. I bet
well,
like
okay,
a few of the
so-
doctors were like, "This thing will keep you going for as
Well,
long as you need. Give it to the boys." Like,
Well, they didn't tell him that it was gonna like, you know, it was marketed as like a pick me up, like an energy drink basically.
well, yeah, but I mean, Coca-Cola, cocaine, and all that. You know, all the popular ones.
Well, yeah, I
that's
know
not
that.
necessarily uncommon. People knew what Coke was. Everybody did Coke. Sherlock Holmes did cocaine.
Yeah, I
He
don't
knew
know.
what it did. Like we're not just like they weren't like ignorant. It was just at the time there wasn't much to do. You know, like you didn't really need to be sober.
Pop a couple mess and just call it good.
Yeah, pop a couple meth tablets, dude. I bet we could get more shit done in America.
All right, bring back
That was-
Pervitin. There it is. The Barkin Boys have declared that Pervitin needs to come back. But we
Wait, no, hold on.
It really needs to, right? I
Wait.
just think it should.
Just
Sponsors, don't listen.
legalize meth. No, I'm kidding. Wait.
Legalize crack cocaine. No, don't actually. We obviously don't think that you should do meth, but if you need to get something done, I'm just saying it's not
It'll help.
necessarily. No, I'm playing. Let's
On to the
let's
next.
forget about the meth story for a second. I want to talk about dolphin LSD sex.
The
we have a
pivot is
moment?
just immaculate. Oh my god.
So, at this point, I was talking to Zach a little bit about it, you know, after hours or whatever.
Sure.
And And I think he knows more about it than I do now, right? Like, I was like, oh, I'll do a little research, whatever.
Okay, yeah, I might. I did watch a video or two over it because this has.
You watched like an hour's worth of like
I
shit
did.
about it.
I'll be honest,
I've
because
read like 2 Wikipedia pages.
this
So,
has to be like one of the most out there experiments, and the fact that this man was supported by the U.S. Navy and stuff
do
is.
you mind if I just like give the top
Yeah,
level domain here on what we're doing?
You go in,
Okay,
and then I'm
so-
gonna follow.
This is dolphin LSD sex. Each of those 3 words are very critical. I guess one's an acronym, but very critical to this story, right? And so what happened was there was this guy named John C. Lilly, and he really thought a lot about dolphins. And this guy, he's not even the one who had sex with the dolphins. That's the funny thing, right?
No,
Like,
yeah, he didn't. Well.
you know, we've heard rumors about what it's like, but he was just trying to get him to like talk and shit. Am I mistaken?
Okay, so yeah, he figured that he. So the
Also, hold up. This guy also created the isolation tank.
Yeah,
He was that dude.
yeah,
he
he-
did a lot of LSD and made the isolation tank that like a lot of people swear by
And-
today. So,
And while he was in
He's
the
a dude.
isolation tank, he apparently had this lucid dream where he met the 3 beings that controlled the world, and he named them something. It was like world peace or something, the world connectors or something. But it was 3 entities that he believed controlled the world. And he figured he met them while on this LSD trip in this water isolation chamber. But continue on, Steven.
okay, so he was tripping balls just like frequently, right? Like this guy was writing books called Simulations of God. Like fucking insane person.
Oh my god, you can
But
buy
somehow-
his books from Target.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when you go to Target and you get all you need from there, like while your wife is like browsing to get in Starbucks, what are we doing? We're learning. Okay.
Dolphin sex.
I want to
Dolphin
know
sex
the
LSD
nature of
book.
God. Okay. And so, anyways, he made this thing called the Dolphinarium, which is actually kind of dope. It's like a house that they like half of it was submerged. And so, like,
What
the
the
people and the dolphins would coexist in this house. Like, there were, like, pathways out into, like, their little pool or tank or whatever you call it where they live.
That's
And they
dope.
could, like, come in and chill, right? And you'd be, like, waist high in water or some shit, like, most of the time. And then there was, like, a second floor where you could do, like, human things away from the dolphins, I guess.
No, the second floor was for him alone. That's where he had his isolation chamber, and he stayed there. Like, for the time of this experiment, the lady that was in the lower one, she didn't go up
Margaret Howe Lovett.
Yeah,
That's her name.
Yeah, Margaret Howe. She didn't go up into the second floor. He stayed there in practically just isolated chamber himself, so he could telepathically talk to the dolphins or the woman lower down.
Incredible.
So, right, like, he's up there tripping shit. I'm sure he's on LSD at this point.
Dude's gone.
They're giving, like, LSD to dolphins. They're trying to teach dolphins how to speak, I think it's English, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to speak English. Yeah. And so there was this dolphin named Peter, and Peter was, like, doing great. Peter was, like, the Protestant. He was, like, the Albert Einstein of these dolphins. So this lady, Margaret, that he was talking about, right? The one who was downstairs actually doing the teaching and the experiment as opposed to just, like, getting high and chilling on the government's dime. She was having some trouble with Peter after a while because, like most other mammals, Peter had urges, right?
Yeah.
And, and so in adolescence, the dude got horny and refused to fucking work, right? And so Margaret was like, well, the show must go on, and beat him off. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay, she...
And it's just an insane series of events to me that, like, there's this trippy acid head, and the government at this time was like, you know what, we're all about that. You know, we got MK Ultra going on. We got all kinds of shit. Just give this guy some LSD. Like, see what he can do. And some other girl was like, I believe in this work so much, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna live in a fucking halfway submerged house. It's like voluntarily living in Florida. And so Yeah, the Smithsonian Channel.
Yeah, there's Peter talking, by the way.
Oh my god. Can we put in a clip of Peter talking? Is that asking too much?
Hold on. Let me verify this is the correct video.
Yeah, this was in 64. Yep,
don't worry,
that's right.
I'm
And that's
having
him
an
talking.
ad.
That's really fucking weird. It's some very weird noises. But yeah, no, I guess Zach knows far more about this than I do now.
Oh god. Okay.
Also, Hustler made an article about it, which I thought was a
Okay,
cool
so
segment.
I'm gonna.
That's how you know it was real.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna start with why John C. Lilly made this. Okay, so
They were trying to spy, right? Like,
No,
they were trying to make dolphins spy on the Soviets or some shit.
No, actually, the way this started was the U.S. government reached out to him and is like, "Hey, we want to talk to aliens," and he was like, "All right, I'm on it. First, we have to start interspecies communication," and he figured out that dolphins have the closest, like they can mimic human speech pretty closely, and it's not.
Will you send me the link to this fucking video so I can watch it later? I'm sorry, I'm hooked.
Yeah,
I
no, yeah.
this was gonna be a fun little thing,
No,
but I really need to know.
No, you have to watch this. It's I'm actually gonna credit the YouTube channel in just a second that made this video. But
Right.
anyways, yeah. So he wanted interspecies talk between people, and he figured that dolphins were the best candidate. So he created, of course, the Dolphinarium, and he divorced his wife, sold everything, bought an island and all this research equipment and the house that this took place in. So the man just full sent this bitch. And so, he brought in Margaret. Margaret had to learn to adapt to being wet 24/7 for 10 months because she lived in this room with the dolphins. There was like a base layer of water inside the room at all times. And of course she slept in a wet bed and whatnot, which would fuck my mental state up, but because I'm autistic and God forbid there be anything on my pillow.
Okay.
But yeah, so she started teaching him how to talk slowly, doing like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and, trying to teach him how to say hi and say hi, Margaret. The funny part about him saying Margaret, he could not make the M for Margaret, so he would have to lower his blowhole underneath the water to make the M for Margaret. Yeah, weird factual thing there. But yeah, so he was a teenage dolphin and he went through puberty. Okay, so this is whenever he started having his sexual urges. And it got so bad that he got aggressive and stuff because he was so fucking horny. Which, saying, no, I'm just kidding.
It's...
But, so she was like, all right, I have 2 other female dolphins. I'll put them all together in the other tank, let them fuck, and I'll bring them back over and teach them. But then one night she had the idea of, I want to strengthen my bond with Peter. I wonder if...
that's what it was.
Oh my God. I wonder if I can get him off. And it's not a detailed account of what happened, but...
well, I don't want a detailed account of what happened.
Hands weren't the only thing that was used, apparently.
Okay, well, that's enough for me there, partner.
Continue on. Outside of the intercourse with a dolphin, he ended up never really learning how to speak. He could mimic, but he couldn't really speak. And finally, they lost funding because, the U.S. government was like, this is fucking stupid. What are y'all doing? Because it came out that they were having sexual intercourse, and they were like, dude, this is a whole animal violation deal. And so after a while, it finally got shut down. Peter was sent to another chamber or like another place to live in Florida under another doctor. Barkin Boys.
Yeah, don't worry, my boys are barking.
The boys be barking. But anyways, so dolphins have to choose to breathe. They can just stop breathing consciously if they want to. And after about a month or two of being out away from the Dolphinarium, he just decided one day that it was over. He stopped breathing and sunk to the bottom and killed himself.
That is really sad.
The fuck.
Yeah.
I came in at the wrong time.
But
oh, that's the end of Peter, dude. That's really unfortunate.
Okay, so another crazy thing, those three dolphins were actually famous in the 1960s because they were a part of a TV show called Flipper. Flipper, I believe. I believe the show was...
That guy lived the start to finish of the fucking American, like, child actor, right? Like,
oh my god, there was a TV
beginning to end, right? Like, got a TV show.
Well, he wasn't...
Tried to get educated, ended up getting hooked on a girl and some drugs, and then just, like, couldn't take it. Like,
yeah, because, okay, so what pissed Margaret off is during the time after she decided to have intercourse with this dolphin, John came down and was like, here, give the dolphin LSD. I want to know what happens. And so they gave the dolphin LSD, and he just kind of floated around and didn't really do a whole lot. And he was like,
God.
Yeah.
you couldn't just, like, hear his voice in your mind or anything.
Yeah. Which, John himself got hooked on LSD, then it was banned, and so he switched to ketamine.
God.
But
The man was hitting all the bases. That's insane.
I could go on about more information about John C. Lilly, but we are going to have to do some extensive research on this man because he also did brain lobotomies and brain research on multiple different animals. So
who let this guy around?
The U.S. government.
God damn, man. He really was one of those people that just like, you can fuck around and we'll bankroll anything.
You know, whatever you want. Just...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's freakish.
What was crazy is, too, so the U.S. Navy used a narwhal whale. Not a narwhal whale? Yeah, the little white ones
Same
or
thing.
whatever. To...
Narwhal.
No, yeah.
Narwhal.
Yeah, to go down and find mines and stuff, and you know, they trained him to go find mines and stuff. Well, he hung out with people so much that whenever they retired him, they put him in a sanctuary or whatever. And one of the people that took care of him was near the tank and could hear what sounded like humans talking, and freaked out because there only should have been a whale in this enclosure. Come to find out, the whale had hung out with the U.S. Navy for so long, it heard so many people talking, it just started talking itself. And
Good God.
Yeah, what we're doing to the oceans is criminal. Like these are actual beings that can actually do shit. They just don't happen to have opposable thumbs or whatever the brain thing that happened for 2 million years or whatever.
Oh, dude. Apparently, dolphins are like, well, of course, they're aggressively horny, but they're also like extremely smart. There has been I've heard stories of one man, he jumped off a bridge to kill himself, and well, he didn't end up killing himself on the impact into the water, and he woke up like a day later on the shore, and he couldn't figure out how. Turns out a dolphin pushed him to the shore after the dolphin found him underneath water. He went on to live. He saw this as like a
sign.
A sign, and he lived the rest of his life.
Interesting.
And he was like, "Oh, maybe I should kill myself." The dolphin said otherwise.
What? Well, I mean, like, okay. So, like, you try to do that, and then, like an animal that you have, like it's never been in your, like, mind at all, right? Like, you've just never considered the intelligence of dolphins, right? Like, like, you never thought if a dog was conscious or not, you know, staring at your pup, you know? I'm like, is she really there? Like, with her in particular, probably not. But the fucking... being saved by just like a random wild animal is just the oddest thing, because usually like we just get killed, you know. That's
just how it
we
goes.
play up here on the land. You get lost, you're just done for, kid. There's a cougar or a bear or something. Not the fun kind of either.
But snakes.
Good God.
Why'd it have to be snakes?
I guess. All right, so speaking of, I don't know where the transition is. I was going to say something about cougars and bears, but that's not going to work at all. So anyway, gone from the dolphin sex LSD debacle, we are now moving on to something I've been very excited for, which is the original story of the Conjuring House and the Perron family.
My wife loves this story, dude. She cannot get enough.
It's so nuts.
It's
so
insane.
These people, for context, The Conjuring was a movie in like 2013 that got released, but this is the original story from that.
Boys be barking.
Oh yeah. So they described as their first occurrences, and I'm going to describe as well. There's ghost adventures reportings, and there's afterwards, after the house and after they moved out in the 80s.
Wasn't there two other? Continue on. There's two other paranormal investigation people that you'll probably talk about.
Yeah, there were some other people that did it too. So some of the first occurrences started off a little bit small scale, a little bit, maybe something was moved around, this or that. A freshly cleaned kitchen floor, there'd be dirt on it and scratching sounds coming from the kettle when nobody was at the house aside from like one person. But with the mom maybe noticed some stuff and the dad a little bit. The girls started noticing spirits around the house and saw them as harmless for the most part. But they eventually there was a spirit named Bathsheba who was the main threats to this family, according to them. And was quoted as, whoever the spirit was, she perceived herself to be mistress of the house, and she resented the competition my mother posed for this position, which is a quote from the eldest daughter, from Andrea. They did some digging when they got into contact with the, I can't remember their names at the moment, the paranormal investigators that they eventually hired onto this to help them out and help them cleanse the home. When they did some digging and found that the home was in the same family for 8 generations before they bought it and moved in. And many of those past 8 generations had died in mysterious and horrible circumstances. As well as, excuse me,
Imagine being born and then, like, it's like, all right, little Timmy, I just want you to know, like, 6 or 7 generations of our family have been, like,
we're
murdered
pretty
in this
fucked.
house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was probably, like, all our fault. Like, we were just, like, generationally doing it to each other. But, yeah, you're born into that. Too fucking bad.
Have fun with
Oh,
that.
yeah, it's terrible.
Go play with them.
And the spirits, Bathsheba was actually a person, real person who lived there. She was rumored to have been a Satanist, and there was evidence that she had been involved in the death of a neighbor's child. But there was no Evatt trial or anything that took place, and she was buried in the cemetery in downtown Harrisville, so a little bit away from the house. But as well as that, the Perrotons believed that it was Bathsheba's spirit that was tormenting them, and like she was the big bad, right? And according to the oldest daughter, Andrea, the family experienced other spirits as well that smelled like rotting flesh and would cause beds to rise off the floor. She claimed her father would enter the basement and feel a cold, stinking presence behind him. They often stayed away from the dirt-floored cellar because the heating equipment would often fall mysteriously, causing Roger to venture down, but the heating causing him to venture down. And over the 10 years that the family lived in the house, they made multiple trips to investigate. The Warrens, rather. That was the name of the investigators.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. The Warrens. Yes, the Warrens went over to investigate. And at a point, Lorraine, the wife, conducted a seance to attempt to contact the spirits. And then during the seance, Carolyn Perron became possessed and spoke in tongues and rose from the ground in her chair.
Bro, what are you saying right now? What do you mean? What you got going on over there?
It's
Chill out.
which is something that was reported as actually being accurate in the film as well. And then 6 years afterwards, after they were terrorized, another family experienced similar things in 1977. The Hodgkinson family started seeing and hearing strange things too. There was other occurrences with them. There was an officer that came around because they were reporting like, "Hey, shit's fucked," right? They came over.
Dude, you couldn't pay me enough to be that cop, though.
Yeah, no shit. So
no.
I'm shooting anything that moves in that house.
So in 1977, they said, "Hey, stuff's pretty fucking whack. We need to come over. We don't feel safe. XYZ." The officer came over and reported witnessing a chair rise up and move around the floor on its own. And reporters from the Daily Mirror, who were also called in to report this haunting, experienced that for themselves too. As well as that,
God.
things that were accurate.
I don't know, man. That's such a bad place to be. I don't.
It's a fuck no
Sorry,
from me, dog.
I get very empathetically freaked out when people are like, "Your house is haunted," because I'm like, "What the fuck are you gonna do in this economy?" Like,
Oh yeah, it's
call
fucking
the
shit out of
police
luck.
haunted, right? Like,
They call a priest.
That fucker's got to start paying rent, man.
oh gosh.
Like, if you're gonna live here, this economy is too much. You're buying groceries too, homie.
As well as things throw them out. As well as certain things being accurate with the film, the phenomena as the clock stopping at 3:07 a.m., birds would fly into the windows and be killed, and the family dog was found dead in the backyard after refusing to go into the house.
Yeah, no. The immediate moment my dog dies, I'm out.
That's it, man. There's nothing.
No, you kill my dog, I'm out. Yeah, no.
The bird one was lame. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen birds run into my fucking paint
That's
glass
fair. Yeah,
back door and
it
just
is
fucking
rough.
die. Like
But-
that one's not too scary. That's just like they got some.
It's just how
normal-ass
it is.
Birds there, all right. if there was a bird that just like lived, like that would start to worry.
Yeah, if it like got
maybe,
up or something. Nah, but like the dog though, the fuck.
That's a fucking terrible. So as well as that, even freakier, after those points, Legos and marbles were reportedly flying around the rooms and were hot to the touch when they were picked up. Clothing folded on tabletops and would leap off of them and fly across the room, and the sounds of dogs barking would be heard in empty rooms, lights would flicker, coins would drop out of thin air, and furniture would spin or tip over without being touched.
Okay, so,
That freaks me out. All of the dog, especially barking in an empty room. Fuck no. I live in a box.
The scariest thing is the fucking Legos. You ever stepped on a Lego in the middle of the night? Just imagine you have one thrown at you that's hot to the touch.
Hot to the
God
fucking
damn,
touch.
it's worse than fucking white torture.
I think that dog dying is only like marginally worse, but still worse. But I just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, fair. If only marginally.
Just the thought I had that like I'd rather be pelted with a Lego than just like one of my dogs just like fucking up and die for ghost reasons.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah, it's
hell
not.
no.
It was also described as. Sorry, what's up?
I was gonna say, I mean, is the ghost my wife? It just walk into the room and the whole entire room's reorganized? Like, what the fuck? Like, just kind of
the coins. So did the coins appear or disappear? I didn't quite.
They were
catch that.
described as the coins would appear.
Yeah,
That's
they would.
pretty
Just,
funny.
They would
Yeah.
drop out of thin air.
thank God.
Okay, those
Get-
had to come from like somewhere at some time, hypothetically, right? So like in the 1800s, a couple generations ago or whatever, they had coins just fucking
Just get fucking
going out of
melted.
sight all the time.
And just-
that was back when like a fucking copper penny was worth something, you know? Like,
Dude was gonna go to the market
it's like
to go
40
get bread
grand
for
of
his.
fucking.
Fucking insane.
Dude was going to the market to get his family bread, and he went to go get out of his stash, and he's like, "Oh fuck, we're poor."
Oh, fucking rough living. But after those occurrences, at one point, the iron fireplace in the upstairs bedroom was ripped out of the wall.
Wait,
After that,
no, you can't just skip over that. That is an iron fucking.
yes,
No, that just doesn't just come out of the wall. That's
it
okay,
does not.
Try to explain this one to me as a skeptic. Okay.
Okay,
So-
let's hold it together. Let's take all the facts in. What exactly happened?
All it was described as is that it was ripped out of the wall, and nobody believed that they were haunted.
What do you mean nobody believed they were on it? Dude,
So-
nobody was gonna be like, yeah, man, that's haunted. I'm gonna stay and verify. No, fuck that. No, you're like, nah, man, I don't think so.
What do you mean you
Like,
walked into a room and the iron furnace is just ripped
Oh,
out
yeah.
of the wall? I come home to like my water heater sitting on the ground or something. What?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's like if your fireplace just like crumbled and everything else was fine.
Okay, so just think about that too. It's an old iron furnace Probably, something that would, heat
Oh yeah,
the room.
the
or
old
whatever.
fucking old school build, right? So
So
it's got to be half a ton.
Yeah, no, that doesn't just oh no, it fell over. No, it would take 5 men to push that thing over or something. Man is driving an F-250 to pull that thing out of the wall.
That's where the time dilation comes in. Somebody was really trying to get that fucking thing. They were renovating the house. They were trying to move the iron furnace, and then they pulled it and then just fucked with the past too. It happens.
That is.
But I'm kidding. That's creepy as fuck. And I'm trying to put a spin on it, but
No, you're.
I'm not about it though.
It's
Not
a
even a
fuck
little
no,
bit.
man. So after this happened, they were of course the parents were like, "What the fuck? Hello." The paranormal investigators started to show up around the world to show and see this house to see whatever occurrences would happen. They claimed to be able to contact spirits and wanted to know more about blah 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 about the Enfield haunting and the just sensationalism, right? Most of them decided that the children had been faking their experiences, as one of them had been admitting to doing so on one occasion, but the Warrens were different. This is where the story differs from the movie. There was no exorcism in practice from the Warrens. 2 years after this begun, the hauntings abruptly stopped, so the family maintained they did nothing to stop them. So it was just after 2 years, all that shit ended, but nobody believed that it really happened. Aside from, and then I put it to the Google Docs, there is a picture of the daughter being thrown across the room from her bed. That was a picture that was was taken in the 70s when they were living in that home, which is I don't understand.
Just a bit of skepticism. That looks like somebody jumping off the bed.
Yeah, that's fair.
That,
But
that one's not too creepy. Everybody's reaction is kind of what the fuck, but
No, that she's got her
Oh, yeah.
legs up like she was. No, she's. Wait,
That's-
is that David Soul from Starsky and Hutch on the wall? Give me. Sorry. Anyways.
yeah. Well, I mean, they were classy, up with the times, folks, when they were fighting these fucking demons.
I mean, I'd simp for him too. Man can. Never mind.
That's why that mistress was so pissed. She couldn't figure out that was just a picture.
Just I want him rip the thing out of the wall.
Yeah.
as well
That's when
as
this appears. You're sitting in the fucking 1620s, and then just a poster just appears on your wall. Oh my god.
What the? Not this again.
later in the later 2000s, the true travel channel Ghost Adventures would go to this
Oh
house.
yeah.
Yes.
Most credible.
Yeah, because Zach Baggins is a great person.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue on. We love
So
Zach
Bill
Baggins.
Brox is the Heinzen's lead paranormal investigator that seems to be the common thread that holds a lot of these paranormal experiences together, being that they found the entire property is highly unusually magnetic. The house and property goes beyond what they would consider haunted, that described as somehow the place is a portal where inexplicably the past, present, and future overlap. Brock, who I'm assuming was one of the team, wondered, does the magnetic field that we're sitting on have the ability to create these portals and let this energy or whatever it is we're dealing with in and out?
Oh my god.
Heinz!
That's so dumb. I'm not
It's-
gonna
it's
lie.
that
fucking
is,
rough.
Magic portal.
This guy's
So-
name is really unfortunate too.
Brock the cock over here being like,
no, Heinzen.
oh.
And they described and documented their own experiences with energy bursts and old-fashioned camera flashbulbs. And the flashbulbs would go off, and you would hear the noise of, the poof or the pop or whatever it is. And they would have a small little light blue orb floating in the air. Then it would fizzle out, and you would hear another small pop. However, after their investigation, it aired and all that stuff, they fucking left from there because it was a Halloween special. Everyone was intrigued. They were not scared and hoped to open the house to tours by that mid-November, which they eventually did. In 2019, Corey and Jefferson Haynes bought the house. It was open to the public as a tourist trap and ghost hunting site. And eventually they would put the house up for sale, and then it was bought by somebody named Jacqueline Nunez for $1.5 million, with the original $400,000 bought by the fucking Heinz family. So it's just a tourist. It's a tourist location, right?
How would you like to be looking through Zillow and the top market is, hey, yeah, this house is fucking haunted. And you're like, damn, that sounds
This
lit.
house
I'll
really
take
out
it.
here.
That sounds like exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Generations of family just eating shit.
Well, I mean, it's either
Or-
that or you like take a shitty submarine to the bottom of the ocean. Like, you take your pick of ways to die, right? Like,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
portal to hell, or just, submarine to hell, or, whatever.
Good God.
the crutch.
People have too much money.
That's never a problem I think I'll experience. I think I'm always going to be on the other side of that.
Yeah, I will never experience the fact of being able to buy a haunted house for multi-million dollars.
Oh no.
Oh no, I bought a haunted house. Just,
Well, you boys figure we call it here?
yeah. I think
Yes, that
I can
sounds great.
Call it here.
Time for Dungeons and Dragons, fellas.
All right, here, hold on.
Fantastic.
I got us with the outro. Give me a second. Let me think.
All right.
He's going to rap.
He fucking leaves the call.
All right. You ready? You ready?
It's the Discord days.
All right. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, hey, I just wanted to make it very fucking clear that though we are called the Barkin Boys, we have nothing to do with furries.
Yeah, okay,
True.
good.
I
Yeah,
want to line that out now.
yeah, it's because
Just iron that shit out before it gets
I
really bad.
fucking hate, I want nothing to do with that.
it's
at
because
all.
we are the
I
dog.
have nothing against the lifestyle, but no. No, that's not us.
It's because we have the dog in us. And
That
so at
dog
this
in
point,
them.
you have listened to the entirety of a Metfield soldier, a house with unexplainable furnaces being ripped out of the wall, and dolphin sex. And I think with that, I believe we're out.
Bye.
Bah.